Aaron stood at the edge of the landing platform, staring at the world below. Vera was not like Earth. From above, it looked as if rivers of glass ran across the land, glowing faintly in colors that shifted with the light of the twin suns. He had read about it in his briefing, but the sight in person was different. It felt alive. The air smelled sharp and cool as he stepped down the ramp of the transport ship. His heart beat fast, though he tried to look calm. He was not a soldier or a scientist. He was something in between, an envoy, chosen to share human culture with the Varans and to learn about theirs in return. The mission sounded simple on paper, but he knew it was not. It was the first step toward trust between two very different civilizations. Waiting for him at the platform were several tall figures with long, flowing garments that shimmered like the surface of water. Their skin held faint patterns that seemed to shift as they moved. These were the Varans. Aaron had practiced their greetings for weeks, yet when the moment came, his voice almost failed him. He bowed slightly, placing his hand over his chest as he had been taught. "I greet you in peace," he said carefully. The tallest Varan nodded, his silver markings catching the sun. "Peace is received," the figure replied in a voice that was low but gentle. The introductions went on, but Aaron's attention drifted to the structure behind them. A bridge of pure crystal arched high into the air, connecting two cliffs across a deep valley. It glowed faintly, as if light itself was trapped inside it. This was the famous Crystal Bridge, a wonder of Vera, and the reason humans had been so eager to begin this exchange. The bridge was not only beautiful, it was said to hold some kind of energy source unknown to Earth. Later, when the formalities ended, Aaron was allowed to walk across the bridge. The first step sent a shiver through him. The surface was smooth and cool, almost too perfect. He could see faint shapes moving below the crystal surface, like shadows sliding through water. He tried not to stare too long, unsure if it was just an illusion of the light. Halfway across, he noticed someone standing ahead of him. A Varan woman, slender and still, gazing at the horizon where the suns dipped low. Her hair, if it could be called that, fell like strands of soft glass, glowing faintly with color. When she turned, her silver eyes met his. For a moment, Aaron forgot to breathe. "You are human," she said softly, her voice carrying like music over the bridge. "Yes," Aaron answered, forcing himself to sound steady. "I am Aaron." She tilted her head, studying him with quiet curiosity. "You walk carefully. Most who come here rush to see the lights." Aaron gave a small smile. "I don't want to miss anything." The woman's lips curved slightly, almost a smile but not quite. "The bridge has a way of testing those who cross it. Some feel fear. Others feel wonder. And some feel both at once." He looked down at the crystal beneath his feet, at the strange faint movements below the surface. "And what do you feel?" he asked. Her silver eyes softened. "I feel that the bridge is alive, and it listens. But it does not speak easily to outsiders." Aaron wanted to ask more, but she turned back toward the horizon. He stood beside her, uncertain if he should stay. The suns painted the sky in gold and violet, and the crystal beneath them glowed brighter, as if responding to the light. After a long silence, she spoke again. "My name is Lyra." Aaron repeated it carefully, the sound gentle on his tongue. He liked the way it felt. Lyra did not move, but he thought he saw her glance at him from the corner of her eye. They stood together until the suns dipped fully, leaving only the glow of the bridge to light their path. The shadows beneath the crystal moved again, but this time Aaron felt less uneasy. With Lyra standing there, the bridge seemed less like a mystery to fear and more like a path to something unknown, yet hopeful. When they parted, she said only, "The bridge will remember you." Her words echoed in his mind long after he returned to his quarters. Aaron lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, hearing the faint hum of the bridge in the distance. He had come to Vera as an envoy, ready to talk of trade, stories, and learning. Yet in his first hours, he felt something deeper had begun. Not just with the bridge. With her. The next morning, Aaron woke to the soft chime of the Veran time signal. His small guest quarters overlooked the valley, and from his window, he could see the crystal bridge stretching across like a ribbon of light. Even in daylight, it glowed faintly, humming in a way that seemed almost alive. He found himself staring at it longer than he should, remembering the silver eyes of the woman he had met. He shook his head, trying to focus. Today was his first real duty. He was to speak to a gathering of Veran scholars and share some human stories. It was not a heavy task, but he wanted to do well. He wanted the Verans to see that humans were more than curious visitors. When he entered the great hall, the Verans sat in quiet rows, their garments shining faintly in the filtered sunlight. They listened politely as he spoke of Earth's oceans, of mountains, of stories humans told about the stars. His words were simple, but he tried to put warmth into them. He noticed some of the Verans leaning closer, their eyes reflecting interest. That gave him courage. Near the back of the hall, he saw her again. Lyra. She sat still, her hands folded, her gaze steady on him. She was not like the others, who studied him with formal curiosity. Her look was softer, quieter, as if she wanted to hear the meaning behind his words, not just the words themselves. After the talk, many of the Verans approached him with formal questions about trade, resources, and knowledge. Aaron answered as best as he could, though some questions he had to leave for the official council. When the gathering ended, he stepped outside into the bright air, relieved it had gone well. He did not expect to find Lyra waiting at the edge of the hall. "You spoke of your oceans," she said when he joined her. "I have never seen such a thing." "They are wide and endless," Aaron replied. "The water stretches farther than the eye can see. The waves move like they breathe. It feels alive, like the bridge here." Her silver eyes lingered on him. "You compare our bridge to your oceans." "Yes," he said, smiling faintly. "Both are beautiful. Both are full of mystery." She seemed to consider that. For a moment, they walked side by side in silence, heading toward the bridge. The valley wind lifted the edges of her shimmering garment, and Aaron thought she looked like a piece of the bridge itself, glowing with quiet strength. When they reached the middle of the bridge, she stopped and looked down. Beneath them, faint shadows moved under the crystal surface, shifting like smoke in water. "Do you see them?" she asked softly. "Yes," Aaron admitted. "I thought at first it was a trick of the light. But they move even when the suns are high." "They are not tricks," Lyra said. "The bridge holds many things. Some call them memories. Some call them spirits. Others say they are simply energy. I do not know which is true. But I know the bridge watches." Aaron frowned slightly. "Does it, Judge?" Lyra gave the smallest shake of her head. "Not judge. But it listens. Those who cross without respect sometimes hear nothing. Others, hear more than they wish." Her words sent a chill down his spine, though her calm voice softened the weight of them. He looked at her, trying to read her expression. She seemed distant, but not cold. It was as if she carried knowledge she could not fully share. Why are you telling me this? He asked carefully. Her gaze turned to him then, sharp but kind. Because you walk as if you are listening. That is rare. Aaron felt warmth rise in his chest at her words. He wanted to say more, but the hum of the bridge grew faintly louder, as if responding to their presence. Both of them fell silent, standing side by side, letting the glow of the crystal wrap around them. When the suns dipped lower, casting long shadows across the valley, Lyra finally spoke again. There are stories I could tell you. Human or Veyron, it does not matter. The stars listen to both. But stories must be given, not taken. If you wish to hear, you must walk with me again. Aaron's answer was simple. I will. She turned away, walking gracefully across the shining surface. Aaron followed, his steps lighter than before. Something inside him shifted that evening. He had come to Vera as an envoy, with the weight of duty pressing on his shoulders. But now, each step across the crystal bridge felt less like duty and more like discovery of the world, of the bridge, and of the quiet bond forming with the silver-eyed woman who walked beside him. That night, as he returned to his quarters, Aaron looked once more at the glowing bridge. The shadows beneath it no longer seemed like something to fear. They felt like secrets waiting for trust. And he felt ready to listen. Days passed quickly for Aaron. Each morning he met with scholars, councils, or translators, sharing pieces of human culture and listening to the careful questions of the Veyrons. But no matter how busy the hours were, his thoughts often returned to the bridge and to Lyra. He began to notice her presence more often. Sometimes she stood at the edge of a gathering, silent and watchful. Other times, she appeared on the bridge at sunset, as if she knew he would come there after his duties ended. Their meetings were never planned, but they kept happening, and each time felt natural, as if the bridge itself wished for it. One evening, after another long day of exchanges, Aaron found her already waiting halfway across the glowing span. The suns had dipped low, painting the sky with shades of gold and violet. Lyra stood with her hands resting lightly on the crystal railing, her silver eyes turned toward the horizon. You return again, she said without looking at him. Aaron stepped beside her, smiling faintly. And you are here again. Her lips curved slightly, but she gave no answer. Together they looked down at the shifting shadows beneath their feet. They moved slowly tonight, long shapes gliding like silent waves. Aaron's curiosity, which had been building for days, finally spilled into words. What are they, truly? The shadows. You say they might be energy, or memories. But you speak as if you know more than you say. Lyra was quiet for a long moment. Her voice, when it came, was soft. There are things my people do not speak of openly. The bridges are more than paths of crystal. They are living structures, older than our oldest songs. They listen, they hold, they remember. Some say they were built by our ancestors. Others believe they grew on their own, shaped by the energy of this world. I do not know which is true. But I do know they must be guarded. Aaron turned toward her, studying her expression. Guarded? From what? Her silver eyes met his, steady and serious. From those who would use them wrongly. Power draws hunger. Hunger draws destruction. There are some among my people who fear your kind has come for this power. The words stung, though Aaron had expected them. He took a slow breath. That is not why I came. I don't know what others may think, but I came here to learn, not to take. She studied him for a long while, as if weighing his honesty. Finally, she looked away, her gaze drifting back to the glowing surface beneath their feet. "I believe you," she said simply. The words eased something heavy inside him. Still, he could not help but ask, "And do the others? The council? The people who whisper?" Lyra's voice grew quieter. "Not all. Some see humans as a danger. Some see them as hope. But hope and fear are close together, and the line is thin." Aaron nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her truth. "And you? Where do you stand?" This time, she did not answer right away. Instead, she placed her hand lightly on the railing of the bridge. The crystal pulsed faintly under her touch, glowing brighter for a moment. "I stand here," she said at last. "Between worlds. Between shadows and light." Aaron felt her words sink deep into him. For a long moment, they both stayed silent, the hum of the bridge surrounding them like a soft song. When they finally began walking back, Aaron noticed something different. Varans moved along the path near the bridge, and some of them turned their heads toward him and Lyra. Their looks were not hostile, but not entirely welcoming either. There was curiosity, but also suspicion. He realized that walking beside her meant something more than he understood. Later that night, as he returned to his quarters, Aaron's thoughts were restless. He remembered the whispers he had overheard earlier that day, Varans speaking quickly in low voices about shadows rising stronger and humans bringing imbalance. At the time, he did not fully understand. But now, thinking of the shadows he had seen, of Lyra's quiet warnings, he felt uneasy. He looked out his window once more at the glowing bridge. The shadows beneath it moved again, darker than before, as if stirred by something unseen. And he wondered, were they watching him? Or were they warning him? That night, Aaron dreamed of walking the bridge alone. The crystal glowed under his feet, but the shadows rose higher, pressing against the surface like hands against glass. Just as they seemed ready to break through, Lyra appeared at his side, her hand reaching out to his. The dream ended before he touched her, but he woke with his heart racing, the echo of her voice in his ears, between shadows and light. Aaron lay awake long after, knowing that his mission was no longer just about culture or trade. It was about trust, danger, and a bond forming in a place where two worlds met. The night air on Vero was cooler than Aaron expected. The twin suns had set, and the valley lay under a deep silver glow. The crystal bridge shimmered faintly in the starlight, its surface alive with soft ripples of light, as if it breathed with the sky. Aaron walked slowly across it, his hands resting against the smooth railing. He often came here after his duties ended, but tonight he was not alone. Lyra walked beside him, her steps silent, her silver eyes reflecting the glow of the crystal. They had spoken little since leaving the hall, but the quiet between them was not heavy. It felt natural, like the bridge itself carried their silence. "You seem troubled," Lyra said softly after a while. Aaron gave a small sigh. "The council grows impatient. They ask about the bridges, about what energy they hold. I cannot answer them, because I do not know. And even if I did," he paused, choosing his words carefully. "Even if I did, I am not sure I would tell them. Not without your people's trust." Lyra glanced at him, her expression unreadable. "That is wise. Some would not believe you, even if you spoke truth. Others would use your words for their own gain." Her voice carried a note of sadness, and Aaron felt the weight in it. He wanted to ask more, but then something caught his eye. The crystal beneath them shivered faintly, like water disturbed by an unseen hand. He looked down. The shadows were there again, but this time they were clearer. Shapes moved under the surface, twisting and stretching like smoke. They pressed against the crystal as though seeking a way out. "Do you see them?" Aaron whispered. Lyra stopped walking, her gaze fixed below. Her voice was steady, but lower than before. "Yes. They are stronger tonight." Aaron crouched slightly, peering closer. The shadows writhed slowly, but one shape lifted higher than the rest, long and thin, almost like a figure. His breath caught. It looked almost alive. "What are they doing?" he asked. Lyra's face was calm, but her hand rested lightly on the railing, as if ready. "They are testing the surface. The bridge holds them, but sometimes they press harder. When the balance of the energy shifts, they grow restless." Aaron straightened, unsettled. "And what makes the balance shift?" She hesitated before answering. "Many things. Conflict. Fear. Hunger for power. Even strong emotion can stir them. That is why the bridge must be guarded." Aaron turned toward her, his brow furrowed. "And you? You're one of the guardians, aren't you?" Her silver eyes met his. For a long moment, she did not speak. Then she gave a small nod. "Yes. It is not a role I chose. It was given to me. My family has watched over this bridge for generations." Aaron felt a deep respect for her then. She was not just a woman he had met by chance, she carried the weight of something ancient, something larger than both of them. Before he could speak again, the bridge gave a faint hum, louder than usual. The light along its surface brightened, and the shadows pressed harder, their shapes flickering like flames. Aaron instinctively reached out, his hand brushing the railing. The crystal vibrated beneath his palm. Lyra lifted her hand, her voice low and firm. She spoke words in her language, a sound like song mixed with command. The glow of the bridge shifted, pulsing in rhythm with her voice. Slowly, the shadows sank deeper, fading into the crystal until they were only faint movements again. Aaron exhaled, not realizing he had been holding his breath. "You stopped them." Lyra lowered her hand, her shoulders tense. "Not stopped. Only calmed. They will rise again." He studied her profile, the way the crystal's glow touched her face. "You carry this burden alone." "Not alone," she said softly. "But there are few who understand, and fewer still who listen." Her eyes flicked toward him then, and for the first time, Aaron felt that she was letting him see the truth behind her calm mask. "I want to listen," he said quietly. "If you'll trust me." For a moment, the bridge hummed softly between them, as if it too waited for her answer. Lyra did not reply at once. Instead, she stepped closer to the center of the bridge, placing her hand flat on the glowing surface. After a long silence, she turned back to him. "You speak as if you mean it," she said finally. "Perhaps the bridge will decide if you are worthy to hear more." Aaron felt a strange mix of unease and wonder. The shadows beneath them had shown their strength, and Lyra had revealed her role. He knew now that his mission was far from simple. The council's questions, the whispers of unrest, and the restless shadows were threads of the same web. But as he walked beside Lyra under the starlight, he also knew something else: he trusted her. And perhaps, in time, she might trust him too. The crystal bridge stretched out before them, glowing steady and strong, but the memory of the shadows lingered in Aaron's mind. For the first time, he wondered if the greatest danger here was not the distance between their worlds, but what lay beneath the shining surface of the bridge itself. The following days grew heavier for Aaron. His time on Vera had started with quiet wonder, but now the air around him carried tension he could not ignore. Each meeting with the human delegation ended with the same pressing demand: what have you learned about the bridge? Aaron sat in the council chamber with 3 human officials. Their faces were stern, their voices sharp. They spoke of energy, of possibilities, of how the bridge's power could change the future for Earth. Aaron listened, his hands folded tightly, but he said little. Finally, one of them leaned forward. You've been here for weeks, Aaron. You spend time with their people. You must have seen something. Even a small detail could help us. Aaron's jaw tightened. The bridge is not a machine to be measured. It is part of their world. It listens, it breathes. It is alive, in its way. We must be careful. The officials exchanged doubtful glances. One of them muttered, he's becoming too close to them. Aaron stood then, his voice steady. If we push too hard, we risk more than we understand. My role here is not to take, it is to build trust. That is what I intend to do. The meeting ended coldly, and Aaron left with the weight of their suspicion pressing on his shoulders. That evening, he went to the bridge again. The crystal glowed under the light of the twin suns, casting long beams across the valley. He hoped to find peace there, but instead, he found Lyra waiting with an expression more serious than before. You are being questioned, she said without preamble. Aaron blinked. You heard. She gave a small nod. Whispers travel quickly here. My council also speaks of you. They say I walk too often with a human. They ask if my loyalty is divided. Aaron's chest tightened. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. And what did you tell them? Her silver eyes met his calmly. I told them my loyalty is to the bridge. But they do not believe that is the whole truth. Aaron's breath caught. He wanted to answer, to explain the pull he felt toward her, but words tangled in his throat. Instead, he said softly, does that trouble you? For the first time, he saw her hesitate. She looked down at the glowing surface beneath them, her reflection shining faintly in the crystal. It should. But it does not. Silence stretched between them. The bridge hummed quietly, its soft glow surrounding them. Aaron felt his heartbeat quicken. He wanted to tell her everything, that he valued her more than his mission, more than the council's demands, but the moment was fragile, and he feared breaking it with clumsy words. Instead, he asked, do you trust me, Lyra? She lifted her gaze, her eyes unreadable but gentle. I do. But trust is not enough. The shadows are restless. The councils are restless. Our worlds pull in different directions. You and I stand in the middle, and the middle is not always safe. Aaron's hands tightened against the railing. Then let me stand there with you. I did not come here for power. I came here to learn, to understand. And I don't want to lose what we've found. Her expression softened, and for a moment, he thought she might smile. But before she could answer, the crystal beneath them shivered faintly. The shadows stirred, darker than before, swirling just beneath the surface. Both of them froze, watching as one long shape rose higher, pressing against the glass-like floor. Lyra placed her hand on the railing, her voice calm but firm. They feel the division. The bridge reflects what is above it. When our people clash, the shadows grow stronger. Aaron swallowed hard. Then we must stop the clash. Her gaze lingered on him, searching, perhaps wondering if he truly understood the weight of his words. Then she nodded once, slow and steady. Perhaps. But it will not be easy. Both our councils watch us now. Every step we take will echo louder than we intend. The shadows slowly sank back down, and the bridge steadied. The glow returned to normal, but the unease in Aaron's chest did not fade. He knew then that his choice was clear. He could follow his orders, give the humans the answers they wanted, and betray the trust growing between him and Lyra. Or he could defy them, risk his place, and stand beside her. When they parted that night, Lyra spoke quietly, her voice carrying a note of warning and of hope. The bridge remembers those who cross it. It will remember what you choose, Aaron. He lay awake long into the night, the memory of her words echoing in his mind. His mission was no longer about duty alone. It was about her. About the bond they had formed, fragile yet strong, like the crystal bridge itself. And as the shadows stirred beneath the glowing surface, Aaron knew that soon, both their worlds would demand an answer. The night was colder than usual, and the wind whispered across the crystal bridge like a warning. Aaron stood at its center, feeling the hum of the crystal beneath his feet. The shadows had grown stronger in recent days, moving more boldly under the glowing surface. He could sense that something was coming. Lyra appeared at his side, her presence calm but her silver eyes serious. "The bridge is restless tonight," she said. "I can feel it," Aaron replied. "It's different. Stronger. Almost alive." She nodded, stepping closer to him. "They sense imbalance. Tension. Fear. And both our worlds are uneasy. You must be ready, Aaron." He swallowed hard, feeling a mixture of fear and resolve. "I am ready. I'll do whatever I can to help." No sooner had he spoken than the crystal beneath them trembled. The glow intensified, and shadows erupted from the depths like smoke suddenly given form. They twisted and stretched, reaching toward the bridge's surface. One long shape rose higher than the rest, moving with a terrible grace. It was bigger than any shadow he had seen before, and its presence pressed heavily against the air. "Stay behind me," Lyra said firmly. Aaron nodded, though his instinct was to move closer. He had come to trust her strength, but he also wanted to stand beside her. The shadows pressed harder, and the bridge trembled beneath them. The hum grew louder, resonating through his chest. Aaron felt fear rise, but he pushed it down. He could not let the bridge or Lyra fail tonight. Lyra placed her hand on the glowing crystal, her voice rising in the song-like language of the Guardians. The glow pulsed with her words, washing across the bridge in waves. The largest shadow writhed violently, resisting, pressing against the crystal floor as if it wanted to break free. Aaron stepped forward, almost instinctively, and placed his own hand beside hers. The crystal pulsed under his touch as well. He did not understand how it worked, but he felt a connection, a flow of energy that seemed to respond to his will. "Hold it," Lyra urged, her voice calm but strong. "Do not let it rise." Aaron focused, willing the shadows to sink back, to respect the bridge. The hum of the crystal rose in response to both their hands. For a tense moment, it seemed as if the shadows would overwhelm them. Then, slowly, they began to sink, flowing back into the depths beneath the surface. The largest one hesitated, lingering, as if testing them one last time, before finally settling into the glowing crystal. The bridge's surface shimmered gently, the glow returning to its normal steady rhythm. Both Aaron and Lyra stepped back, breathing heavily. The danger had passed, but the weight of what they had faced remained. "You did well," Lyra said quietly, her hand brushing his arm. Her silver eyes shone in the dim glow. The bridge listened to you. Not everyone could have done that. Aaron looked at her, his chest still racing. We did it together. I couldn't have done it without you. Her expression softened, and for a moment, the tension between them lifted. He saw her as more than a guardian, more than a guide. He saw her as someone who trusted him, someone whose strength and courage inspired him to rise above fear. The hum of the bridge faded to its usual gentle pulse, and the shadows were gone for now. Yet both of them knew they could return at any time. We need to warn our councils, Lyra said after a pause. Both sides must understand what nearly happened here. They will listen now, because the bridge has spoken. Aaron nodded. Yes. And maybe now, they will also see that humans and Varans can work together. That together we are stronger. She gave him a small nod, her silver eyes reflecting the glow of the bridge. Perhaps. But strength alone is not enough. Trust must guide it. Aaron smiled faintly. Then let us continue to trust each other. No matter what comes. For the first time, the bridge felt less threatening. The glow of the crystal seemed warmer, as if acknowledging their courage. The night air was still cold, but the tension between them eased. They walked slowly back toward the center, their steps synchronized, side by side. And in that quiet moment, Aaron realized something profound. He had come to Vera as an envoy, a representative of Earth. He had come to learn and to share. But now, in the glow of the crystal bridge, he understood that his mission had grown larger. It was about unity, about courage, and about a bond that could bridge two worlds. The shadows had risen, testing both the bridge and them. But they had faced it together and survived. And in that survival, a new hope was born, quiet but steady, shining as brightly as the crystal beneath their feet. The first light of the twin suns spread across Vera, casting gentle gold and violet reflections across the crystal bridge. The events of the previous night still lingered in Aaron's mind, the shadows, the tremor of the bridge, the pulse of energy they had felt together. Yet now, in the soft morning glow, the bridge seemed calm, almost welcoming. Aaron walked slowly across its surface, feeling the gentle hum beneath his feet. Every step reminded him of Lyra, of the courage they had shared, and the trust that had grown between them. The bridge had been more than a test, it had been a place where their worlds met, and where a bond had formed that neither could ignore. He reached the center and found Lyra already waiting, her silver eyes bright in the morning light. She smiled faintly, a warmth in her expression that made his chest feel lighter. The bridge is quiet today, she said softly. Yes, Aaron replied, smiling back. It feels peaceful. Like it is giving us a moment to breathe. She nodded, turning to look out at the valley below. It will not always be quiet. But today, perhaps, we can remember why we protect it. They stood together in silence, listening to the gentle hum of the crystal beneath them. For a long time, neither spoke, letting the bridge's calm energy fill the space between them. Finally, Aaron took a small step closer. Lyra. I came here as an envoy. I thought my mission was to learn about your world and share my own. But now I realize, my mission has grown. It is about more than words or knowledge. It is about trust. About understanding. About standing together. Her gaze met his, steady and clear. I have felt the same, she said. You have chosen to walk with me, even when it was difficult. Even when it was dangerous. That choice matters. He reached out slowly, taking her hand. The crystal beneath them seemed to pulse faintly, a soft glow that mirrored the warmth he felt in his chest. Then let us continue to walk together, he said. Not just on the bridge, but beyond it? In whatever comes next. Lyra's fingers tightened slightly around his. Yes, she said, her voice quiet but certain. Together. The moment felt timeless. The glow of the bridge, the gentle hum beneath their feet, the soft light of the twin suns, it all seemed to celebrate the bond between them. It was a bond built on courage, on trust, and on the shared struggle to protect something greater than themselves. Below them, the shadows moved faintly, but now they seemed calm, almost respectful, as if acknowledging the unity they had witnessed. Aaron and Lyra looked down at the glowing depths, seeing the faint traces of energy ripple through the crystal. The bridge had survived the tests, and they had survived with it stronger than before. After a long moment, Lyra spoke again. Our worlds may still be cautious of each other, she said, but this bridge shows what is possible. Humans and Varans can protect, learn, and grow together. And perhaps, more than that, we can choose to trust, even when it is hard. Aaron nodded, feeling the truth in her words. I will carry that lesson back to my people. And I will carry you in my thoughts as well. She smiled softly, a quiet light in her silver eyes. And I will remember you, Aaron. Not just as an envoy, but as someone who stood beside me when it mattered most. For a long time, they walked together across the glowing bridge, their steps in harmony. Each movement felt lighter now, free of the tension that had shadowed their first encounters. The crystal beneath them pulsed gently, reflecting the warmth between them and the quiet strength they had found together. When they reached the highest arch of the bridge, they paused. The valley below stretched endlessly, rivers of light reflecting the suns above. The shadows beneath the surface were still, no longer threatening, only rippling faintly in the calm glow. Aaron looked at Lyra, his heart steady and sure. This bridge, it brought us together. It tested us. It showed us what matters. And it will always remind us of what we can do when we stand united. Lyra's hand remained in his. Yes. And perhaps one day, others will learn from what we have done here. That even in worlds apart, trust and courage can build a path forward. They stood together, side by side, looking out at the horizon. The crystal bridge shimmered beneath their feet, a shining ribbon of light connecting two cliffs and two hearts. The shadows had been fierce, the councils cautious, and the worlds uncertain. Yet in the end, light and trust had prevailed. And on the crystal bridge, where two souls had first met, Aaron and Lyra knew that their journey together was only beginning. The bridge, calm and glowing, seemed to hum in approval, as if acknowledging the bond formed across its shining surface. It had become more than a path of crystal. It had become a symbol of hope, courage, and unity. And for Aaron and Lyra, it would forever be a place where two worlds, and two hearts, could meet.